All here to this sanctuary, for we know that it has been transformed into a sacred space. Each and every Sunday, your energy, your love, your blessings created to be that. And I want to welcome all of the people out there that on the World Wide Web that we get to touch these days, which I am so absolutely blessed to be able to do. When I was a young girl, and I have been communicating with the Ascended Master since I was three and a half years old. And one of the things that they reminded me of is, this is your mission on the planet. Your mission is to touch millions and millions and millions of people with this message, to bring this energy forth. And I remember sitting there on my bed and crying and saying, but I'm just one little girl. How am I going to do that? And look at us now. And of course, I'm from a small village. There was no electricity. Okay. Right? And here we are now, just a few years later, and we get to touch each other on a global scale. And I am so grateful for that. I am very grateful that Dr. Sharon asked me to be here this morning to deliver the message on empowerment. I am empowered to live my truth. And we know that Dr. Sharon is in New York living her truth. I spoke with her last night as well, and I think the Dalai Lama is very blessed to have an audience with her. And we hold that space and energy. Because that is living our truth. And I know that sometimes when we think of empowerment, and we think of the word power, many things come up for us. There may be many challenges around that word, because sometimes we have abused our power. Sometimes others' power has abused us. And we see in our world the abuse of power, or at least let's say the misuse of power. So sometimes power is a little bit of a scary word, depending on our point of reference. However, the power that we speak of here, personal empowerment, is the personal power. It is the unfolding of the divine forces of love, wisdom, and power. When our elder brother walked the planet, Joshua ben Pendira, we know him as Jesus. He anchored the Christed light unto the planet and into the heart of every being upon the planet. He walked within the enfoldment of the divine forces of love, wisdom, and power. It is said that it is a flame that is within the inner heart center, and as we practice it, it grows, and it should enfold our entire body. And it is said that he walked in this divine flame from the feet to the top of his head, always speaking from a place of compassion, a place of personal power, a place of wisdom, of intuition, of knowing. And that is the place that we need to come from. He spoke his truth. He lived his truth. We need to live our truth. Now, my truth and your truth are not the same. Just as we are all like a snowflake, each and every single one of us, slightly differently faceted, slightly different. No matter how much alike we may seem, we are different. And we all fit into the universal energy that unfolds as the divinity that we express. And we are each a particle, a facet of that divinity. For each and every single one of us, our mission is different. For each and every single one of us, our truth is different. So it is important that we learn to stand in our truth and walk in our truth and speak our truth. And be empowered, stand in our individualized power to be able to speak our truth. whatever that may be, whether it is within a personal situation, whether it is before a group of people, whether it is in an argument, which often happen, or disagreements, which often happen. Actually, disagreements, when we can stand in our truth and speak our truth, are very empowering for both individuals. When we do not stand in our truth, that is when we argue, if that makes sense. Because it's not possible to respect someone when they're not standing in their truth. So this is very important. And I know that there are many challenges that can keep us from that. Have I always lived in my truth? Absolutely not. I mean, maybe there's someone here who can say that they have, but I know I haven't. I came here at the age of 11 with a mom who was very strong and strong-willed, and God bless her because she picked up 2 children, and brought them to another country. She spoke no English. We spoke no English. My father died when I was 7. She had great personal power, and she knew that she was going somewhere to create a better life for herself and for her children, or at least for her children. She was a very strong-willed woman. So when we first came here, my mom also has her own unique sense of style. So here, we're in this country. I am 11 years old. I do not speak English. I'm going to school. My mom said, I'm not going to braid your hair. I said, oh, good. Just leave it. I'll take care of my hair. No, you can't take care of your own hair. Because, she used to braid and put these huge bows in my hair. That wasn't going to quite work. So she said to me, no, you can't take care of your own hair. I'm going to cut it. So she cut my hair. And of course, she always planned for the future. So when she bought me shoes, and at that time, those saddle shoes were in style, the black and white ones. Except she felt, well, everybody wears those. So she got me the brown and white ones, which were not in style. And of course, she planned for the future, so they were just a little bit bigger so I could grow into them. I wear a size 9. I have yet to grow into them. She dressed me in her unique sense of color, although I do love color. So there I am showing up at school in brown saddle shoes, many sizes too large, in multicolored clothing, with what would only be termed as a frizzy white girl afro, unevenly cut, because my hair was quite curly then. So, did I really stand in my truth? I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be like everyone else. I did not want to be that different. Here I am, the poster child for the Polak jokes. That was not the reason I came here. It takes some time for us to develop our spine, so to speak. We learn and we get in touch with ourselves and what's right for me. And sometimes the things that are right for us seem just unsurmountable. They're just too big. But when those times occur, we need to look at those who came before us, who did stand in their truth, and say, perhaps my mountain is not as high as theirs was. And if they could climb their mountain, I can climb mine. When I despair, I remember that all through history, the way of truth and love have always won. There have been tyrants and murderers, and for a time, they can seem invincible. But in the end, they always fall. Think of it, always. Mahatma Gandhi. He did not give up on his truth, on his mission, on his purpose. He was empowered by his inner knowing and his inner being. He knew he was here for a purpose. He was here on a mission. Now, does this mean that we are all here to make such huge social changes as he did? Not necessarily. And remember, when a butterfly flaps its wings in China, the reverberation from it is felt in your heart right here. So every step that we take has an impact and an effect on another. Every single step that we take. We need to have faith that we can live in integrity in our own lives. There is a quote, and I often forget the man's name who said it. And he said, "The day that I know that I am in the right place, the day that I know that I am living in alignment with God, is the day when I am in integrity with myself. Not in integrity when someone is watching, but in integrity when no one sees and no one would know the difference." This is the place that we need to live from. Now, here's the thing. Spiritual life, which we lead, is a maintenance process. I have always said that it is a maintenance process. It is a place of self-observation and a constant and consistent awakening. If I have self-observed that I have transgressed, I say, "Oh, I forgot myself. Now I remember I am a divine-like being. I am divine essence that has some carbon molecules in it. So as a result, I'm in a physical body in density, and sometimes I forget. And I forgive myself for my transgression, and I put myself on the path yet once again. Knowing that we are divine-like beings and knowing that that is our mission, to express that divinity and to share it and to be the mirror for it and to be the light for it for others. Knowing that that is our eventual outcome. We have our path that is set. And sometimes we veer off the path, and then we self-remember and we go back on. That is all. Our transgressions, our misgivings, our misconceptions are nothing more than just a slight veering off our path. And I speak of me, you, us, we as individuals, not of them. You know, because they do all kinds of things. Gnostic Bishop Heller always say, people are generally annoying. Them. Okay? See, it's easy to speak of them. However, when I can speak of me, when I can stand here and say, "Oh, yes, you're pushing my button. My goodness. That means I have a button to push. I better find the root cause of that button inside me." Because that energy that another person is sending to us that we react to is really only allowing us to know that's our Buddha, that's our Christ. That's simply letting us know, hey, I have a little bit more work here. That's all. And the moment that those energetic knots are dissolved, the moment that I no longer have that place where their anger, their jealousy, their rage, their righteousness, their political beliefs, their eating of bad food, whatever we judge, right? Their judgments, okay? When all of that is dissolved inside me, then it just passes right through me. It doesn't even catch. And I get to say, okay, this is good. And I might even remember, hey, there was a time when I would have really reacted to that, but I no longer do. And then that is the time that we need to do what doesn't happen for us very often, or at least not often enough. And that is, and in fact, let's everyone do that right now. Extend your right hand or left hand, whichever one you choose, okay? Face your palm up, bend at the elbow, and pat yourself on the back. How often do we get a pat on the back? Sometimes we just need to give it to ourselves. Hey, I've been really good. I did good deeds today. I lived in integrity. I lived my truth. I am empowered, and I empower myself. I don't look for power from someone else. I don't look for someone else to tell me it's okay. I can do this for myself. No matter how insurmountable things might be, my mountain might look like a molehill to one person, but it's a mountain it's Mount Everest to me. And to another person, Mount Everest might seem like a molehill. We're all individuals on our own individualized path. Let us walk that path. Let us walk the truth. And you know what's really great is in this way of life, when I walk my truth, others walk theirs, and we get to support each other, and we get to climb those mountains together. And somehow, when there is a camaraderie, a friendship, when there is a collective, those mountains just seem to go really quickly. I was hiking, and I kept on, I hike in a certain place, and I kept on looking this one place, always, one of these days I'm going to make it all the way to the top. One of these days I'm going to make it all the way to the top. And then one day, these two ladies were hiking, and we started talking, and we started walking, and before I knew it, I was all the way at the top. Because I got to hike it with someone else. I got to hike it in community. And it was no longer as surmountable. Or unsurmountable. So this is where challenges become opportunities. And it's a wonderful thing to have opportunities so that they challenge us to grow. So that they challenge us to stay in our place of empowered truth. You have been blessed with immense power to make positive changes in your life. We all have a divine mission. Let that mission be to inspire, love, embrace the light within. Let that mission be to have peace in our hearts and create that peace on earth. Let the mission be to seek empowerment through transformation and to breathe joy into everything we do. I leave you with my truth, peace, and love to live your truth. Namaste.